As recently as 1988, 67% of black women at Southern University said that they would rather remain single than date outside of their race. More recent research has found that many black women continue to prefer black men. In their disinclination to form intimate interracial relationships, black women are no different from women of other races. Let me read that one more time. In their disinclination to form intimate interracial relationships, black women are no different from women of other races. As I mentioned in the previous chapter, the available empirical evidence suggests that women are more wary than men of entertaining an interracial relationship. One study of internet dating, for example, found that 38% of women preferred to date someone of the same race, while only 18% of men expressed such a preference. While y'all are busy telling me that I'm coming to my own non-factual conclusions, let me tell you something. This is a peer-reviewed book. Let me tell you something. You couldn't get into Harvard if you tried. Half of you couldn't be a Stanford professor if you tried your hardest. You non-intellectuals, you non-academics have so much to say. And that's why you have so much to say, because you're ignorant. You don't know. You have no idea what it takes to put out a book like this. You have no idea the effort, the research, the headaches, the sleepless nights. You have no idea. And I have some idea because I've had to do the work. Not the work of writing a book like this, but definitely the work of combining my resources, my annotated bibliographies, learning how to do that stuff, whether it's MLA style, APA style, something else. It's arduous work to produce a thing like this. And for you to sit on your ignorant hind parts and tell somebody, oh, you're just lying. No. It's just research you're not capable of. You can't wrap your little brain around it. So that's what you say. That's your only refrain. Look, this book, this is the first, it's still the first page of chapter 9. It's still, when I first read the first page of chapter 9, I only used the part that I underlined. I just continued reading the rest of it. I'm making up stuff. You can grab the book. Grab the book. Read it yourself. You can talk about what's true and what's not true, but he makes his references. Look at the references. Look at the studies. And here's the deal. You couldn't make sense of it anyway. You couldn't make sense of it anyway. If you don't go sit somewhere on your high school diploma. Oh, look, would you look at that on the next page? I didn't think he was interested. Just as some white men think that black women are not interested in them, some black women assume the same of white men. For both groups, then, their own apparent lack of interest may simply reflect their mistaken beliefs about the desires of the other group. So what did I just say when I posted the last video? I said, sis, nobody thinks you want them. That's the real reason you are the most romantically segregated group of people in America. It's not because you're ugly. It's not because you're fat. It's not because you're black. It's not because, no, it's because nobody thinks you want them. Is that not what the paragraph just said? Harvard graduate, Stanford professor? I'm going to take his word or yours, right? Because you could never. You could never. Look what it says even further down. And I'm going to, look, I need to read, so I need my phone out of my way. I'll hold it onto the paragraph. There, you can grab your screenshot for the bottom paragraph. It reads, the assumption that only black men want black women is a common one. Its most vehement proponents include some black men. As I researched in this book, I was surprised, as I researched this book, I was surprised to hear so many black men state without the least bit of doubt or equivocation that only black men are attracted to black women. Further up the page, which you can see, you can screenshot that too, there's a woman he's talking to about how she was taught by her mother and grandmother that because she's dark skinned, only black men know how to appreciate that beauty. And we can see in the form of Ketanji Brown Jackson that that was a lie. I need a Nicki Minaj sound for Did I Lie? Many black men believe that black women have no choice but to remain with black men. That is why I made the previous video. Nobody thinks you want them, sis. We have been taught by black men and black women that black women don't have a choice because nobody likes us. Everybody thinks we're ugly. Everybody's racist. Everybody thinks we're the bottom of the barrel. We've been taught this by our own people. Not true. It's not the reality. All groups of men are more willing to pair themselves interracially than are the women. The women are risk averse. It's risky. Look, there's that word, risky. And might avoid interracial relationships because they view them as risky. What if he doesn't understand me? I don't want to have to explain black hair to him. What if it's a pink peen? What if it's a this? What if my family? What if my community? What if my I don't want to be seen as, guilt tripping, and I don't want to be seen as a woman who left behind black men who thought she was better or a betrayer of my race. That's, oh God, some of y'all are pathetic. I don't know what you comment on in my videos. If you don't think, don't comment. For you is the listen. For thinkers, for reflectors, for people who have analytical thought process, for them, they can comment. I'm going to start blocking you guys. Oof. So for the past couple of pages, Dr. Banks has been talking about, or Professor Banks has been talking about how the cycle between white men and black women in terms of how black women don't, like in hindsight, we can tell that a white man was interested in us, but usually white men will express interest, doing something like asking a question. They're such they're the brothers and the fathers of the women who took over the Me Too movement. So they're always trying to be careful. They're not as forward and aggressive as black men are when they're trying to get with you. They do really subtle things. It's a very subtle nudge, and we don't get it. It flies over our head. Consistently overlooking expressions of interest from white men leads to more missed opportunities. It also contributes to a potentially vicious cycle because, as I've discussed, people tend to like others who they think like them. Black women might not be attracted to white men because they don't think that white men are attracted to them. White men, in turn, might not approach black women because they don't think their interest would be reciprocated. Social psychologists have a name for such situations. Are you a social psychologist? No, so just listen to one. Social psychologists have a name for such situations. It's called pluralistic ignorance. Even if substantial numbers of black women and white men are open to interracial relationships, those relationships will not form as long as each side underestimates the other's interest. Like I said, nobody thinks you want them, sis. That's what's really going on. And you've got to use white men every time I say white men as a euphemism for all non-black men. They just don't think you're interested. People are more likely, what does that say? People tend to like others who they think like them. Nobody's out here trying to get rejected. Imagine you really think black women are the prototype and the blueprint, and you think that they don't like you. You might start to think, oh, she's stuck up and sedity and highfalutin. All these are insults, most often like uppity, thrown at black people. So you might tell yourself, oh, I don't like those snooty patooties anyway, and put no black women on your profile to make yourself feel better about it. Like I said, we see the what, but don't ask the why. We see the what, but do not inform others of the why. Anyhow, pluralistic ignorance. Even if substantial numbers of black women and white men are open to interracial relationships, those relationships will not form as long as each side underestimates the interest of the other. I view the outcome for black women as desired by default. They remain with black men because they don't see an alternative. They don't see an alternative. I've seen so many channels of trying not to call people pick-me's anymore because it's becoming a pejorative of sorts. But they're just like, they say to divestors, divest where? Where are you going to go? And they don't talk to swirlers like that. I think that's very interesting. I think it's very interesting that they don't say the same thing to swirlers, because by calling yourself a swirler, you are already swirling. They can't talk to Crystal and Karazin like that because they see her. Every time she goes live, there's a guy who is non-black. There were rumors about her dating a black guy for some time after she left Mr. E, but I'm just like, you can see her being interrupted. The phone calls, where are you? What's going on? What are you? You can see it. You can see it. You can see it on her swirly little kids. You can see it. There is no, they don't want you. 20 years of marriage. Kids raised. Trust fund babies. I think it's really funny that they will talk to divested black women like that, but not swirlers. Anyhow, it's just, there's such a pervasive level of thinking that needs to be dismantled. It's not that nobody wants you. It's that nobody thinks you want them, black woman. And they're right, because by and large, black women are by and large self-loving. Black women are by and large in love with their own reflection. Black women, by and large, they want black men. We do. We do. I'm not here to tell you that there's something wrong with that. I'm only here to tell you that you've been lied to, hoodwinked, bamboozled, run amok. This stuff is not true about people not being attracted to you. People will ignore your black behind because they think she doesn't like me anyway. You put yourself out there to Connor. I had a literal guy named Connor, a literal freaking Connor. He introduced one of his friends to me, right? He finds me, he goes, oh, hey, Chocolate, and looks at his friend and turns red. Found me in the Hub, Husky Union building. This is an undergrad, right? And I'm like, oh, hey, Connor, how are you? And I realized in that moment that Connor was flexing. Like, I know a black girl. She's super interesting. Her real name is Chocolate, and she's my friend. And because I was looking at his body language, and I'm just like, what is going on? Like, you're not even, are you talking to me or him? And he's looking at his friend like, right. Everything I told you she was, right? And he was like, oh my God, it's so nice to meet you. My name is Chet, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'll see you guys later. See you around campus. I didn't get it. I got it. But like the whole time, Connor was expressing interest and I didn't get it. And I think because I didn't get it, he didn't think I was interested. But he definitely, when he needed to flex, he's like, I'm going to show off the hot black girl. Campus of 38,000 students at the University of Washington, and less than 3,000 of them were black. Less than 2,000 of them were black. Keeping it a buck, we had more Africans than African Americans. So most of the African Americans are straight up, football team, basketball team, tiny minority. And just to know me was a flex. To have proximity to me was a campus flex. I remember this girl, when my class was graduating, because I was too cool for school, whatever. Um, I didn't show up to walk for my graduation. I ended up going the next year just to offer to my mom the ceremony so she could get the feeling of watching me walk across the stage with my cap and gown. But like the year that I graduated, some girl was going through the story came back to me, right? This girl, a very loud, obnoxious girl, was going through the program, and she was like, chocolate? Chocolate? There's a girl who goes to the University of Washington and her name is Chocolate? Dozens of people responded to her. You don't know Chocolate? How do you go here and you don't know Chocolate? There's only one. Literally how I came up with when I was going to do a different channel and it was The Only Chocolate Angel. Literally the story behind that. Literally the story behind that name. It was such a flex, and the people who responded to her were all nations, all religions, all groups of people. Like it was a ripple effect. Like what'd she say? She doesn't know chocolate? Yeah. Yeah. So anyhow, you guys know me. I will obviously, veer off into a tangent with the quickness. But basically, the last page that I read was about, he calls it the black track. So if you want to go to chapter 9 and read page 133, you can see all about the black track, where he goes into the research where he found that some black women just genuinely love black men and are not attracted to white men. And so the women go into how they might date a swarthy Mediterranean guy, but they don't want anything to do with blonde hair and blue eyes, and how they don't like men with no upper lip. And it's giving what you see all over YouTube when the black women are like, I could never sleep with a white man because pink pain. Is it pink? Like, is it? And no, no. I don't know what you've been watching. I don't know what you've been watching. But I texted a friend of mine. I was like, I need help. Is it pink? He's like, no. Like, why did you? I'm like, what color is it then? Anyhow, he was obviously white. Anyhow, listen. Black women have their preferences. And on the other page, I can go to it, but basically it was about a woman who she dated a bunch of great white guys, but she was just like, all I can do is date them. I don't want to love them. I don't want to marry them. I don't feel that deeply for them. And she ended up trying to make it work with a black guy who had a personality disorder. And she was like, had he been white, I'd have eliminated him a long time ago. He'd have been broken up with, whatever. But because he was black, she tried to make it work. Isn't that crazy how black women can have all that mercy for black men, and then if something goes wrong, it's you should have chosen better? But when you exclude them, it's, oh, give that brother a chance and your standards are too high. I mean, cannot win for losing. Y'all, this book is fun, okay? This book is fun. Check this out, right? Because not only does he do the CDC reports and the Pew reports and all the statistics and things like this, he's actually going out, not on dates, but he's actually going out in the field, meeting a bunch of, different black women and having conversations with them over dinner, over drinks, about their preferences, the why, the when, the where, the what, the how. And he starts suggesting to one woman, because she's like, I don't like black guys. Look at this. Screenshot that. He's like, okay, Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, George Clooney. Like, she kept shaking her head no. John Travolta, Antonio Banderas. She just, no. And he said, I went from the pretty boys to the gritty boys. And still, she said no. She insisted that she never, ever could date any man that wasn't black. And then you get down to here and it's just like, all right, well, what do these men not have that black men have? Swag. I got that swag. Add that to my bag. Oh my gosh. Not swag. Not us having to go on an anti-swag campaign. Not us being embarrassed by the guy that can't dance. I actually think it's so cute when people can't dance but dance anyway. I think it's so cute and so confident because, like, it's gotta take confidence to go out there with no rhythm and no moves and just do it anyway. Anyhow, check this out. This is interesting. I'm gonna put the phone down so I can just read because no. Um, Say it like this, the single syllable answer I get from many women was that ineffable quality more easily felt than defined, swag. Women know it when they see it. Bro, for such a time as this, Will Smith has swag. Brad Pitt does not. LeBron James has swag. Tom Brady does not. But swag is not limited to athletes and entertainers. Barack Obama has swag. George Bush does not. Bruh. Black women are risking it all for swag. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, check this out. This gets interesting. Although unquestionably associated with race, swag is not strictly speaking limited to black men, nor possessed by all black men, right? This is why the educated lames are mad. I want to get real here. Bill Clinton has swag, but according to some women, at least, Denzel Washington does not. Unless he's in training day. Lord have mercy. Somebody help. This is not okay. This is not okay. This is not okay. What in the criminal element? Stop. Oh my God, stop. Anyhow, while swag may seem to come naturally to black men, to white men it does not. When a woman in Atlanta describes a common look among young white men, Dockers or khaki shorts, colored polo shirt. Hey, that's how Miss Choppity dressed. Don't be trying my Miss Choppity girl. Oakley and sunglasses. Okay, no Oakley, no sunglasses. No Oakley sunglasses. Another woman calls it that frat boy look. Oh, my Miss Choppity's a frat boy. I can't do this with my life right now. Anyhow, she acknowledges that such a look may count as a white guy swagger, but it wouldn't do it for her. What then is swag? Anyway, I'm not about to read about swag because F swag. I clearly am into blurs, I'm into nerdy men. I love nerds, right? So I'm not worth the reading on camera. So I'll come back to you guys with something else. But anyhow, like, share, comment, subscribe, and don't be a thinking person. Don't be a. Let me not. That statement came out wrong because I'm not even supposed to say it. I need to bring it down several notches and just zen because somebody left a comment under this video and I'm just like, I'm gonna go ahead and just, man. Really, I've just been responding to you the whole time. And girl, fake girl, I know you're not a girl. Melanie Jones made yourself a little black female name so you can go into black female spaces and say nonsense. You don't read like us, honey. You don't read like a pick-me. You don't read like a female. Oh, you are dressed in drag. Had to do my bag. Uppity the baddie. Bad. Okay, no, here's what I will say about swag, right? Because when you're talking swag, you're talking backbone, right? You're talking a man with like bravado, machismo, charisma, right? Here's what I will say about that. Black women looking for men with swag just goes to show that these blanks are lying on us. These men folk out here are lying on us when they say that, oh, they don't like submission and blah, 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 and they don't like to cooperate, they don't like to be comely in their demeanor. Like, how many of us? Why you don't like him? He's too nice. What do we mean by he's too nice? Because a person can't really be too nice. What do black women mean when they use that word? He's spineless. He's an invertebrate. I can walk on him. I can step on him. If black women wanted men they could walk on and step on, he's too nice would not exist as a diss. You feel me? It wouldn't exist. Bam. Snapshot. Snapshot. Okay. So, a woman in DC said she met an Asian man that she really liked, but then realized he didn't have enough backbone. He was asking permission for things and wasn't willing to take charge. Definitely not a man with swag. A man with swag leads rather than follows. I'm not about to go back and forth with no YouTube content creator about black women not wanting men who lead. They absolutely do, and that's why we throng them. That's why we were all willing to sleep with Martin knowing he was married to Coretta. We were all throwing it at Malcolm knowing he was married to Betty. We are all somewhere available for LeBron and Jay-Z. Cut it out. She don't want to submit to you because you're a bad leader. You're an unqualified leader. That's what that is. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Everybody. Men and women alike, men, women, and children. It is natural for people to seek a leader, want a leader, submit to a leader. Bye.
Chocolate. It's either chocolate or it ain't. It's either chocolate or it ain't.